Hello everybody, Neurotic Vows here, and I'm going to be doing my first official music review. And my first review will be the new Black Sabbath album, 13. Now this is the limited special edition, which comes with a second disc and it comes with 3 extra tracks. And this is also the Best Buy version, which comes with an exclusive bonus track, but I will get into those as I review the album. Now, the one thing I have to point out, this does suffer from loudness wars. Rick Rubin is kind of infamous for doing that, but he is also famous for bringing old bands back to their old sound. Now, I will be breaking this down into a track-by-track review, and I will start with the song "End of the Beginning." Before I even actually review this song, I will say all the tracks combined do sound very old school Black Sabbath. If you listen to the 8 tracks that come on the standard edition, it does sound like the first 3 albums, like a culmination of the first 3 albums. The other 4 sound like later Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath stuff, but again, we will get into that a little more. So, track number 1, "End of the Beginning." Intro is very reminiscent of the song Black Sabbath from the debut album Black Sabbath. Starts off pretty slow and dark, and then partway through it progresses to a much heavier sound. The song itself is about living for today and not worrying about the future, and don't think about changing the past, because if you go into the past, you're just setting yourself up to make the same mistakes you did before and having to relive through it. I love the track. It is in my top 3 of the album. The second track is "God Is Dead." This is the first big single that came off the album. It's all around an awesome song. It follows the soft soft verse, heavy chorus motif, and the bass work in it is some of my favorite bass I've heard in quite a long time. Also, has one of the best swing riffs in it, which Black Sabbath bringing back the whole swing riffs and other music techniques that a lot of modern bands don't really do that much anymore. Most modern metal bands just do or any kind of music that just does the verse, chorus. Maybe sometimes you'll have a bridge or a breakdown, but the art of having swing riffs and stuff like that seems to be lost on a lot of bands these days. And the song itself deals with seeing all the corruption and death in the world, and questioning if God is alive anymore, if He even exists. Pretty good song. It's about 9 minutes long, and it's just epic. Track number 3, "Loner." The main riff kind of reminds me of NIB, actually. Not the intro, but the actual chorus and verse of the song really remind me of NIB. And the song deals with someone who isolates themselves their entire life and doesn't know how to reach out for someone when they need help, and has no future because of his own solitude, and can't communicate or rehabilitate himself because of it. It is a very teen angsty type song, actually, and again, yet another joyful track. "Zeitgeist" is a very interesting track because the song is very similar, and it seems like a sequel to the song "Planet Caravan." If you're familiar with the first albums of Black Sabbath, it's a big deal. I love some of the kind of weird off tracks that are really slow and kind of spacey sounding. So yeah, is very quiet and it's very slow, and the song is talks about the loss of, or the feeling of floating through space, falling and floating forever, not knowing if you're ever going to be found or not. Well, that's the literal. Of course, the deeper meaning, finding yourself lost and not finding your own way. And anyway, I digress, because the philosophical meanings of songs usually pertain your own meaning. When you listen to the song, you kind of put your own backstory to it. Now, track number 5, "Age of Reason." This song has one of my favorite intros. It's got big, powerful sounding drums in the beginning, Um, and that again, if you start off really good with the track, I usually enjoy the entire track, and the intro just sets up an amazing song. And the song deals with the inevitable destruction of the human race, and the destruction coming from politics, religion, and greed, and has one of my favorite lines in it, which is sustainable extinction, which does really describe kind of the state that the human race is in right now. Um, another great another great track following that is "Live Forever." Lyrically, very simple and very straightforward. There aren't many lyrics in it. It's the same thing, just repeated, but it does kind of put the point in your head that Ozzy is singing that he does not want to live forever, but he also doesn't want to die, because the fear of death you would think would push someone to want to live forever, but then having to live through and experience all the world's darkest times through centuries and centuries would not be favorable either. And then we come to track 7, Damaged Soul, which again brings back some older Sabbath styles. It is very bluesy and actually has harmonica, which Ozzy does provide himself. Um, and the meaning of the song is losing the internal struggle between God and Satan, and Satan is winning on the inside, and as Satan takes over, the world itself is ending. If you notice a theme, a lot of these songs are about the end of the world, death, being alone. It's very thematic and very true to the old school Black Sabbath albums. Now, track number 8 is the last track of the standard edition, and it's called Dear Father. And the song itself is told through the eyes of a child who has been molested by a priest. That's what it seems like. And it is very clear on the last couple lines that he wishes these priests to have to face what death brings them after all the sin and corruption they have brought, and also talks about the suffering of having to live knowing that a priest has done this to you and wronged you and completely destroyed everything who you are. And that's the 8-track center edition. Now we're going to come to the second disc, which comes on the special edition, with the song Methodemic as an acoustic intro, very fast-driven guitars after the acoustic intro, and a lot of great bass. And the song itself describes horrifying drug trips that take you to your worst nightmares, and you want to quit, but the addiction is so strong that you just cannot stop. I definitely feel like this comes from Ozzy's own personal experience with his addiction to drugs, but he has quit from what he said. The second bonus track is Peace of Mind, and it is not. The song itself deals with not being able to have your peace of mind, just because when you get time by yourself, your inner thoughts just start to rule, and a lot of your inner thoughts are just not good thoughts when you're by yourself. And and also being a broken man, you just don't have the best thoughts at times, and thoughts themselves, just having thoughts, keeps you from having peace of mind. And then the last track on the on the special edition is Pariah, and the song is told from someone who is being worshipped by somebody, even though he's telling him that you should not worship me, you should not look up to me. I'm just as bad as a person as anybody else. Again, these are all really great tracks. And now we come to the track that comes exclusively through Best Buy if you live in the US. And it's called Naivete in Black, or NIB, maybe it can be seen as a sequel to NIB. And really this song talks about everyone being just a link in a chain, People just follow what everybody else is following, basically being sheep, and no one really thinks for themselves. And the song is telling you to, think for yourself, be an individual, and live now at the moment. Don't think about the future and past. Live now. Don't follow whatever constraints everybody wants you to follow. But also know your limits. Don't live free, but know your limits, and don't try to go past them. Now, my official score for the album is 9 out of 10. And I listened to that album over and over and over. The only thing that really gets me is the loudness war issue, which causes a bit of distortion in some of the songs at times. And it's not the worst sound wars issue I've ever heard, or loudness wars, because there is at least some really good quiet depths in the music. But I just wish loudness wars would just stop. You can't have everything. So if you're a fan of the old school Black Sabbath and would like to hear what they would have done if they would have kept together with Ozzy Osbourne, I would definitely highly recommend this album. That being said, I do give it my official 9 out of 10. See you next week for my next review.